Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really fascinating, the world of articulated robots.
Yeah, it's a big topic. And we've got a really detailed analysis here. It comes from Cognitive Market Research. It
Yeah.
was first put together back in October 2024, but it's been updated pretty recently, February of this year, 2025.
Exactly. And our mission today for this deep dive is to really get a handle on the current state of this market. It's growing fast. So, who are the major players, calling the shots? And,
Yeah.
and maybe more importantly, what's actually fueling this incredible expansion we're seeing? We'll try to cut through some of the market jargon.
Yeah, keep it clear.
Give you a clear picture of what's happening and, crucially, why it matters.
Well, the first thing that really jumps out from this analysis is just the sheer size. I mean, the market value right now, and maybe even more striking, where it's headed.
Okay.
In 2023, the articulated robot market was already valued at USD 25.14 billion, which is pretty substantial.
25 billion. Okay? And get this, by 2032, so what, just a few short years away, it's projected to absolutely skyrocket. We're talking USD 88.29 billion.
Wow.
That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 5.20%. I mean, that kind of steady growth, it really signals a major shift, doesn't it, in manufacturing other industries?
It really does. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
Now, maybe for listeners who aren't quite familiar, articulated robots.
Yeah.
What are they exactly? Well, they're essentially robots with arms. Arms that have multiple joints, kind of like our own arms, actually.
Right, like an elbow, a wrist,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Exactly. And that design, that's what allows them to handle these really complex tasks. Tasks that need, a high degree of precision, but also a lot of flexibility and movement.
Okay, so think about really intricate stuff in manufacturing, maybe, like assembling tiny electronic parts.
Precisely. Or the precise welding you need on a car assembly line.
Yeah.
Even things like applying a perfect even coat of paint or just efficiently moving materials around a big warehouse. These are the jobs where articulated robots really shine.
So why are we seeing this huge surge in their use now? What are the drivers?
Well, there are a few key things. At the heart of it, it's just the ongoing progress in automation and robotics tech itself. I mean, the robots coming out now are they're more capable, more versatile than they've ever been.
Makes sense. Technology gets better.
Right. And then you've got the demand side. There's just increasing demand for automation across huge industries. Think automotive, electronics, consumer goods manufacturing.
Businesses are really seeing the benefits then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a big push to automate tasks that are, frankly, repetitive and often physically demanding for human workers.
Right. The dull, dirty, dangerous stuff sometimes.
Exactly. And doing that, it doesn't just boost productivity, it also improves the consistency, the quality of the products,
Yeah.
and really importantly, it can make the workplace a lot safer for employees.
Okay. And then there's this bigger picture thing, Industry 4.0. We hear that term a lot.
Yeah, Industry 4.0. It sounds complicated, but think of it as like creating smart factories where all the different systems, the machines, including these articulated robots, they're all connected, they're intelligent, working together smoothly.
Okay, so the robots are a key piece of that puzzle.
A very key piece. And what's really fascinating when you look at the companies in this space is the constant push for innovation. They're not sitting still. They're always finding ways to make their robots better, easier to program, easier to use, and crucially, integrating them with things like AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning.
So robots that can learn, get better over time.
That's the idea. Imagine robots becoming more efficient just by doing their jobs. Pretty powerful stuff.
Okay, so let's dive into who these key players actually are. According to this cognitive market research analysis, the top 5, well, it shows a really strong presence from one region in particular. Japan seems to be dominant.
Yeah, that definitely stands out. Leading the pack with a hefty 24% market share is FANUC Corporation, based in Japan.
FAU. Okay, I've heard of them. They're big in factory automation, right?
Huge. They're really well known for their CNC systems, that's computer numerical control, basically the brains for precise machine movement, but also their industrial robots and just general factory automation solutions. Their big thing is reliability, and people often say they're relatively easy to use.
And they're not resting on their laurels, it seems. The report mentions they expanded their FANUC Iberia branch in Spain just last February 2024.
Right. Shows ongoing investment, continued commitment. They're definitely still pushing.
Okay, so who's next?
Right behind MNUC with a still very significant 19% share is ABB. They're headquartered over in Switzerland. ABB is a massive global player in electrification and automation tech, so they bring a really broad base of expertise.
Right, not just robots. But they do specialize in robotics for manufacturing and assembly.
They do. They operate in like over 100 countries. And in robotics, yeah, they focus heavily on these articulated types for manufacturing, assembly, always kind of pushing the envelope on capability.
And the report mentioned something specific about them, new robots.
Yeah, it highlighted they introduced two new large robot classes, the IRB 5710 and 5720. That was back in August 2022. These were designed for some really demanding jobs, like electric vehicle production, complex metal fabrication.
Ah, okay.
And the key thing they emphasized was improvements in durability, speed, accuracy, and just overall flexibility, making them tougher and smarter.
That really underscores that continuous innovation point you made earlier.
Okay, next up, with 13% of the market.
That's Omron Corporation, another major Japanese multinational.
Okay, another Japanese company. What's OMRON known for?
Omron's got a very strong position in automation and control tech. They're particularly recognized for their robotics, but also sensing technology. Think sophisticated industrial robots, advanced machine vision systems, the kind of stuff needed for quality control.
Right, the eyes for the robots, almost.
Kinda, yeah. And it sounds like Omron is really looking ahead strategically. The report mentioned a recent cooperation they started with a company called Neurorobotics. Neurorobotics, okay.
Yeah, and this collaboration is focused on integrating what they call cognitive robots. Basically, robots with AI embedded, making them smarter, more aware. The goal is to bring these into factory automation to really boost efficiency, flexibility, and, again, safety.
Cognitive robots. That sounds like a step beyond just programming, more like thinking machines.
Well, maybe not thinking like us, but certainly more adaptive and aware of their environment. It's a big step. Then we have Toshiba Corporation, holding 10% of the market share.
Toshiba. Now, they're a huge name, but in lots of different areas, right? Electronics, power.
Exactly. They're a very large, diversified conglomerate.
Yeah.
So while they are a significant player in articulated robots, they also have major interests in things like consumer electronics, power systems, infrastructure.
So maybe robotics isn't their only focus, but that broad tech background could be an advantage, like their semiconductor work.
That's a good point. Their deep involvement in semiconductors, storage solutions, the energy sector, it likely gives them a really broad technological foundation that probably benefits their robotics side too. Lots of related expertise to draw on.
Interesting. Okay, that's 4. Who rounds out the top 5?
Rounding out the top 5 with an 8% market share is Yaskawa Electric Corporation. And yes, another key player from Japan.
Wow, 4 out of the top 5 from Japan. That's remarkable. Yaskawa. They're known for motomen robots.
That's right. Yaskawa is a real leader in automation, robotics, motion control. Their Motoman line is very well known, used everywhere. Welding, assembly, material handling, you name it.
And what's maybe distinctive about Yaskawa?
Well, one thing the report notes is their strong emphasis on energy-efficient solutions. Not just in their robots, but across their automation systems.
Ah, the sustainability angle. That's becoming more important.
Increasingly so. Businesses are looking to cut their environmental footprint, manage operating costs. So energy efficiency is a big plus.
So looking at that top 5, FANUC, ABB, Omron, Toshiba, Yaskawa, it's just striking, isn't it? That Japanese dominance.
It really is. It makes you wonder about the history there, the focus on manufacturing tech.
Definitely something to ponder. So when this analysis, or anyone really, compares these companies, what are the key factors they look at? What makes one better than another in this market?
Well, several key criteria come up consistently. First is probably product range and innovation. Do they offer a diverse lineup of robots, different sizes, capabilities, specializations? Leaders tend to have a wide offering.
Right. You need to cater to all sorts of different jobs. Makes sense. What else?
Technological advancements are obviously huge. Things like how well they integrate AI, how easy the robots are to actually program and use, and, critically important now, their ability to work safely alongside humans, collaborative features.
Ah, the cobot aspect we hear about.
Exactly. Then there's market presence and experience. A company with a long history, established customer relationships, that builds trust and signals reliability.
Yeah, you probably want someone with a proven track record if you're making a big investment like this.
Definitely. And don't overlook the practical stuff, like customer service.
Yeah.
After-sales support, training for the staff who'll use the robots, maintenance.
Yeah.
That quality of service can really make or break the user experience.
Absolutely. Long-term relationship.
And cost-effectiveness, naturally. It always comes down to the bottom line eventually. Businesses want the best return on investment.
Right.
And finally, something we touched on with Yaskawa, sustainability practices are increasingly becoming a factor. Companies are starting to value manufacturers focused on green manufacturing, energy-efficient robots. It's not just optional anymore.
Okay, so it's a mix of tech prowess, market savvy, customer focus, cost, and now sustainability. A lot to juggle.
It really is.
Now, these top five are clearly leading, but markets like this are never static, are they? There are always challengers. Does the report mention any companies that could potentially shake things up? Threats to that top five.
Oh, absolutely. The report identifies several interesting ones to keep an eye on. One really significant name is Universal Robots, based in Denmark.
Universal Robots, UR.
Ah,
Yeah, they're known for those cobots, right? The collaborative ones.
exactly. They pretty much pioneered that market segment. User-friendly cobots designed specifically to work safely right next to people. This has made automation way more accessible, especially for like smaller and medium-sized businesses.
Right, companies that maybe couldn't afford or fit the big caged industrial robots before.
Precisely. Cobots are really changing the game in terms of integration and human-robot collaboration.
Okay, who else is emerging?
Then there's Rockwell Automation, a U.S. company. Their strength is really leveraging their deep expertise in industrial automation and software. They focus on making robot integration seamless within those smart factory environments we talked about.
So they're focused on the bigger picture, the whole system integration.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Providing comprehensive interconnected solutions is kind of their angle.
Okay. Any European contenders besides UR?
Yes. Robert Bosch, GmbH from Germany. Bosch is, of course, a massive engineering and technology powerhouse. They're bringing all that prowess to develop innovative robotic solutions across many sectors. They have such a reputation for quality and tech.
Yeah, it makes sense they'd be strong in robotics, too.
Absolutely. And then back to Japan, we also have Mitsubishi Electric and Panasonic Corporation emerging as potential threats.
More Japanese companies, they're leveraging their strengths in automation and electronics.
Exactly. Capitalizing on those core competencies to develop advanced robot tech. They seem really focused on high performance and high precision.
So it's a mix then. Some specializing in niches like cobots, others leveraging broad tech backgrounds. What kind of strategies are these challenger companies using to gain ground?
The report points to a few key things. One is just rapid innovation. They're pushing out new models, new features really quickly.
Trying to leapfrog the incumbents.
Sort of, yeah. Aggressive pricing can also be a factor, trying to make their solutions more attractive, maybe especially to more cost-sensitive buyers. And a lot of them seem focused on providing tailored solutions, not just off-the-shelf robots, but systems really designed for specific industry needs, addressing unique challenges.
So that user-friendliness, especially with cobots and the customization, that sounds like a powerful combo for disruption, right? Making automation less daunting.
I think that's a great way to put it. They're almost like democratizing robotics in a way, making it accessible beyond the giant manufacturers.
Yeah, lowering the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So flip side of the coin, if you were a new company thinking about jumping into this market now, what should you focus on? Where are the opportunities?
Well, the biggest opportunity is tapping into that fundamental rising demand for automation everywhere, especially in manufacturing. So rule one is probably develop innovative articulated robots, but maybe focus them on specific sector needs.
Like specializing.
Yeah.
Automotive or electronics or consumer goods.
Exactly. Understand the specific pain points and requirements in those sectors. Don't try to be everything to everyone right away.
And based on the success of companies like Universal Robots, focusing on cobots seems like a smart move.
Definitely seems like a hot area. Prioritizing collaborative robots that can safely work with humans. That opens up a huge market, particularly those SMEs, the small and medium enterprises we mentioned, workflows where humans and robots need to be close.
Okay. What about the tech side, AI and machine learning?
Absolutely critical for a new player wanting to make a real splash. Integrating AI and ML to optimize robot performance, enable more adaptive manufacturing. That's going to be a key differentiator. Robots that learn are the future.
Right, not just doing the same program task over and over.
Exactly. And linked to that is accessibility again, ease of programming. Developing intuitive, user-friendly interfaces is vital, especially for smaller businesses without armies of robotics engineers.
Make it easy to set up, easy to use.
Lower that barrier. And finally, that sustainability angle we keep coming back to.
It's not just a buzzword anymore.
Not at all.
Yeah.
New entrants should absolutely prioritize developing energy-efficient robots, maybe even thinking about sustainable manufacturing processes for the robots themselves. It appeals to customers, and it can save them money long-term.
So the playbook for new entrants seems to be innovate, specialize, focus on user-friendliness and collaboration, cobots, embed AI, and be sustainable.
That sounds like a pretty solid roadmap in this market, yeah.
And underlying all of this, we can't forget the Internet of Things, IoT, and Industry 4.0, right?
We really can't overstate their importance. The increasing integration of sensors, data analytics, connected systems, that's a massive driving force for the growth and evolution of this market. Robots are becoming nodes in a much larger network.
It's about creating those smarter, interconnected systems where robots talk to other machines, share data, operate more autonomously, leading to better productivity, better quality overall.
Precisely. Articulated robots aren't just standalone machines anymore. They're becoming integral parts of these intelligent, networked industrial environments.
Okay, let's try and wrap up our deep dive into the articulated robot market. It's clear this is a market seeing really significant growth.
Huge growth, yeah. Fueled by that relentless need for automation across industries, plus just amazing technological advancements in robotics.
And while we have those big established players, mostly Japanese, plus ABB holding the largest shares right now.
We've seen there are dynamic, innovative challengers emerging. They're really pushing the boundaries, especially with collaborative robots and AI integration. They're definitely shaking things up.
And for any new companies looking to enter this space, the path seems clear. Focus on user-friendliness, sustainability, specialization for industry needs, and embracing adaptable, intelligent systems.
The potential is just enormous. Those growth figures, again, from around $25 billion in 2023, projected to hit nearly $88 billion by 2032. That's a massive trajectory.
It really is.
Mm.
So maybe here's a final thought to leave our listeners with. Considering these rapid advances in AI and how deeply robots are becoming integrated into manufacturing, how might the role of human workers really evolve in the factories of the future?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe more importantly, what kind of skills, what expertise will become the most valuable in that increasingly automated landscape?
That's a huge question, something we'll all need to grapple with.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.